All right, hydropower. Let's listen.
Okay. The geothermal plants can use between 1,700 and 4,000 gallons of water per megawatt hour in the plants. Done.
Okay, so I've never seen that before, but we do use water. Yeah, we do use a lot of water, but then we do all the water we use from the ground. It's turned into steam by the hot stuff in the earth. Sorry, and then when it comes and turns the turbines, and we make the energy, then we condense the steam back into water and inject it back into the earth. So we recycle the entire process. So we're not really using more, and we're not really using it less. It's just like the same stuff over and over. Anything else? Okay, done. Okay. Hydropower dams have burst because water is very strong and it has killed lots of people. Do you have a plan to avoid this? Because you're gonna make lots of hydropower plants? Done.
In fact, we do, because now, since there's so many hydropower plants, and $200 billion, it doesn't take much to reinforce dams. It doesn't take much money. So all of the dams that we have, we can reinforce them to be even stronger. And dam bursts are dams that burst only happen when they're poor quality and when they're older. Now we can renew them. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I want to add on because the new dam designs are actually are more efficient and a whole lot stronger. The older dams are the ones that are bursting. But the newer ones are much more stronger and more less capable of bursting.
Don't speed through it. It sounds like we're going real fast. I'm not mad. You might have good answers. Just make sure you get everything that you really want. Thanks, kiddo.
It can't be transported, which is a bad because there aren't various sites and needs to be transported, but it's fun.
Yeah, so you guys don't have that many sites that you can use it in, and unlike coal and oil, it's harder to transport. So, we can use pipes and to transport the energy to power lines that are nearby.
And I'm just gonna add on to that. Since we don't have that many geothermal plants right now, as you said, but obviously we're gonna build more because we have a lot of room and space and stuff. And since the plants are kind of in the middle of nowhere, we use pipes to transport the energy just to the power lines, and then the power lines can transport the energy to nearby buildings or houses. Anything else?
Okay. So, anyways, I think what they meant is that it's kind of slow when they transport it. But even though it may be a little bit slow, it's still a little bit. It's still worth it. Done.
Are you guys checking with your partners before you say done?
We had 3 seconds.
Oh, and you can let it expire. You don't lose points if it beeps at you. You get that, guys? You just have to stop talking when it beeps. Yep.
Big dams can cause erosion and landslides.
That is true. But once again, we are.
I never actually heard that because me and TJ were the ones who were researching the cons, and they never saw anything on that. And we looked down every single website, and
We haven't seen
really
that, but I definitely
that
believe that could be true. We can find a way to build the dams so that there's new concrete that's much lighter that won't cause as much erosion and mudslides. And usually the mudslides aren't really bad. They're really minor.
done.
The power plant can run out of steam if you pour too much water in the plant.
Yeah, so we found that if you cool the plant too much, it may not be hot enough because it has to be 350 degrees Fahrenheit for the steam to come out, at least. So it can run out of steam. Done.
Okay. Even though we can run out of steam, all of the other sites will still work. And I'm going to add on to that. You said, as you're correct, that the steam, it has to be a certain temperature for it to actually become into steam and to make the energy. But as I said before, we recycle the process, so anything that isn't hot enough, we can inject it back into the earth, and later, when we get that again, it'll be hot enough. So it's just a recycled process. So it should, if it doesn't work, we can do it again. Anything else? Okay, done. It has limited use because if you don't have yearly rainfalls, it will not work properly.
When you guys say it, can you be more clear that you mean hydropower or whatever?
Hydropower.
Can you replace the it though for me? Say it again.
Hydropower has limited use because if you don't have yearly rainfalls, hydropower will not work properly.
Yes, but since we have, since there's water really everywhere.
Are you done?
Yeah, done. The thing is that
Since there are bodies of water everywhere, we can have multiples in one state. So, and we can, and there are probably, and since there are so many of them, we could borrow some from probably from a dam that's close to the state in another state, but that's pretty close. And so if there was little rainfall in one area, in one place, we could do, but there was heavy rainfall in the state next to it, we could use the energy from that state.
I want to add on something. Also, you said that if there's not yearly rain, but there is yearly rain.
Most places.
The water cycle hasn't really stopped in any point in history. It's that water cycle keeps on going, and we will keep on having water.
And it's not like it's ever going to stop raining.
Exactly.
Done.
You guys don't have to rush it. You just let it run out.
Exactly. So why don't you do your last two arguments at this point, kiddos? So take the last two.
So,
You can take a minute to pick though. Like the other team may need it. Check this out. You don't have to start the timer yet. If I give them a few minutes to
when you need the large scale power plants. So, 14 years ago.
You chose me?
Not yet. We just have to put that on this. Oh, let's just combine it. Should we do that one? Should we do C?
You guys make sure you can guide back to the answers to your question. And then we'll look up the email.
Add that to the
I'll check my email from the doctor and then respond back.
Let's see.
I made them shine.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, we would never be able to use only geothermal as the only electricity source for the world, and it's also 15% less efficient than our current energy source, and it would never be able to work all by its own because of the because there's not enough areas to build the
Can I add on
power
to that?
plants. Yeah.
So she's saying that it's not going to be on its own. So we're not going to take down any. I mean, the thing is that if you want geothermal to be powering the West, it's probably not really going to be enough because to put a geothermal power plant as a specific area, those areas are really hard to find, and it's going to be really hard to build more. Done. So yeah, we already said that we are only going to power the West, along with Hawaii and Alaska. But But we plan to do like the entire Western, and our country is already running on fossil fuels and other energy sources, not completely, just minorly. So if we can do that just for parts, for like just less than half the country, if we're already doing it for the whole country, if we do that for half the country, and then we power the entire West on geothermal, and like the entire, because we have a lot of money to use and we have a lot of good, sorry, never mind, and we have a little technology that we already showed, but we're going to show it again.
So,
Like, yeah.
So, as you can see here, this is all the West, and then this all this part of the United States would be powered on all the coal power plants and the fossil fuels that we already have. But all in the West, we can power the entire West with geothermal energy. As you can see all these dots, there's lots of stuff that we can power. The West can power most of the United States.
Done. Where are you?
Building large dams alters the natural water table. Means that in some places the water is too high and in some places the water is too low. Wait, done. Could you repeat that, please? Okay. Building large dams alters the natural water table. Means that in some places the water is too high and in some places the water is too low. Done.
So the thing is that that is I'll take another. Okay, so the thing is that yes, that is true. But the thing is that when you put a dam across the river, you don't go, okay, Lake Arlington, put a dam there. You don't do it randomly. They specifically choose spots that wouldn't alter it too badly.
And also, especially once even though the dam is in for hydropower, they can actually raise and lower this wall in it to actually like alter the water flow. So if the water is they can actually make it so that it's, if the water is too high, they can let more water run into the Salt Creek, and then so that the lake will lower, and then if it's
Do we have one last argument?
Yes.
Yeah. So we know that the large-scale power plants can be dangerous to the Earth's surface, but we don't really know how much damage is caused. But I mean, we can infer that it would probably damage because you're basically drilling into the Earth's crust and like digging into the Earth, but no one really knows how much damage it could cause. Anything to add on to that?
Can I add something?
Yeah.
And although the damage can be little, there is still damage. And if the damage to the Earth's crust suddenly just appears, we're not going to be ready for it. So, in a way, it's dangerous.
Done. Okay. You want to say something first? Okay. So anyway, it doesn't really harm the Earth because it just digs in. It doesn't like it digs in, and since the Earth's like inside the Earth is so warm, it just like and then there's like water in the ground. We take the water out. It doesn't cause too much like harm in the Earth because it's not like we just make so many holes that people fall in there. So yeah. Okay, but drilling into the rock is, you kind of implied this, that you were saying it's kind of not, but drilling into the rock is kind of difficult, but we're making new technology so it'll be easier, so we can get more geothermal energy, and also, but in some places, that's why we the geologists come and evaluate it, so we don't drill into a tectonic plate and cause an earthquake, or anything like that.
You guys have one more argument? Or no?
Yep.
That was it?
Yeah, we have one more.
One more argument?
Okay, yeah, okay.
I can't remember what it's going to be.
Both of our energy sources have very expensive power plants, but we are only going to power the western states along with Hawaii and Alaska. But I assume you want to power the full country, so there might be a problem there.
Well,
Done.
well, since there's basically water in like, in sort of there's basically water in every state. So, and you can only power the west, but we can power the entire. But we can have we can have a couple in like one state and a couple in another because there will basically always be water in the states. So as long as there's water we'll have the power. But then since you have the magma, you could possibly run out of that, or you could possibly, with all the water, that you could possibly use too much water and actually cool down the magma too much.
Can I add something? I'm just gonna say they can't really run out of magma, but we're not. The thing is that we don't actually. The price of our power plant depends on the size of the dam. I think that's it.
So we're done.
So try not to say anything about each team, okay?
Good job.
Remember, we don't want to say the judges.
Wait, but in court we have 10-minute recesses.
In course, the judge doesn't talk to anybody about it. The judge decides it on her own.
Yeah, but we got